Gentlemen, we have some minutes from our previous meeting. Any comments?
No problem with them.
Quite accurate to me. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second? Mike? Yes. BJ?
Yes.
John?
Yes. Okay, we have a guest here, Stephen Matsko from Interfinish.
Hello.
How are you, Stephen?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Good.
Want me to stand over here?
Sure, you can, anywhere you'd like.
So, I was asked to come today, introduce myself and my company. I've been working with the township on doing some fact finding for the new flooring at Adams Hall, or the proposed flooring at Adams Hall. So I was asked to come and field questions that members of the community might have and members of the board may have. So
Maybe first you could just illuminate on what the issues that I know you've spent a little bit of time over the last, actually probably year and a half. What's the issue down there?
the issue that was brought to our attention was obviously the floor needs to be replaced in some form or fashion. So part of the governing body of the commercial flooring industry, there are certain requirements that a concrete subfloor has to meet. And the simplest form is, acidity tests need to be taken, moisture tests need to be taken to determine exactly what's in the concrete and what's coming up from underneath the water table. So we did a moisture test where we core drilled into the concrete to determine what the level of vapor emissions coming out of the concrete were. So concrete's porous, so if you put water on top of it, it'll soak down through, but it also will allow water to come up through from the water table. The acceptable level within our field is a 75% relative humidity. We took 3 tests at Adams Hall, 2 in June, 1 in July of 2015. The initial test was, just give me 1 second, it's on my phone, I don't want to misspeak. First test was, actually we put 2 core tests in the concrete. The one is on the south side of the building, one is on the north side of the building. First test came back 81% relative humidity, second test was 85. 2 weeks later we tested again, we were 94 and 96. A month later we tested, we were 95 and 94. What that test tells us is there is a large amount of moisture being omitted from the concrete. So the problem that poses with commercial flooring is our adhesives will not hold up to that water. So consequently, if you put the new floor down, the adhesive will be eaten away and you'll have the same problem that you're having now. I don't know for a fact that that's the only thing occurring, because I also believe you had some roof damage which caused water to come from top down, correct?
When we started on this, yeah, we noticed some floor issues down there, and we started talking about a replacement floor, but that was prior to doing a pretty thorough repair, or examination and repair of some roof systems, some heating ventilation systems. And that's why this has been going on for well over a year, because we thought maybe we'd try to correct some substantial issues like that before we came back to the floor.
Well, there are a few things within that floor that would give us the reason to think that it is occurring. Some of your VCT tiles, the vinyl composition tiles that are currently on the floor, are starting to curl. If you tap on them, the corners are hollow, which is indicative of you're getting something up through the concrete, which is causing that adhesive to fail, and in turn causing the product to fail. So, there are a couple different options or ways to go about remediating it. You can use...
Before you even go to remediate, did somebody look at the drainage on the outside of the building to make sure that it's not draining? I mean, it's a poured concrete slab.
Correct. I can't answer that question. That would be these gentlemen.
PJ, you gotta know what I'm talking.
Yeah. Sure, it's drained. There's a concrete apron around the entire, I think it's the entire building.
Yeah, but are there French drains then that would go around so that if water was coming in, it would seep the water out and run it off so that it wouldn't sit under the concrete slab?
On the west and south side, yeah. Yeah. Which is gravity driven, yeah.
But not on the other side?
Well, that's the entrance on the one side, so it's pretty difficult to, in a parking lot.
You got a
to sit
core
as
under,
well.
yeah.
But that's-
I'm just thinking that might be a whole lot cheaper than. Just trying to think of the cheapest
Oh,
first.
understandable. So we proposed a couple different flooring options. Aesthetics changes based upon the different types of materials that you pick. I know I was working with Nancy and some of the other people here, trying to achieve a certain look that was more universal for multi-purpose meetings. A lot of different events go on there. So trying to maintain a really traditional look, but also a functional look throughout, that particular building. So there are products that tolerate a higher moisture level, but with that, you lose some of the aesthetics. But there's a way to actually moisture remediate by putting a topical sealer and treatment over the top of it. But with doing that, you've got some incurred costs. So our proposal outlined two options, and it was really only budgetary. We own state contracts with the state of Ohio, so everything we do is through a pre-bid process with the state term and the Ohio Department of Administrative Services. So all those services fall underneath of a state contract purchasing agreement. And we're really here just to try to help you fact find and answer any questions that will hopefully lead you in a different direction. So 10 years from now, you're not having these same conversations. So, yes.
Question on the moisture. Do you believe the moisture is coming from the concrete itself, or do you think that the moisture is coming from beneath the
I
concrete?
believe it's coming from beneath the concrete. Typically in a construction setting, it takes 90 to 120 days for the concrete that they put within the water that they put within the concrete to evaporate out. But because the concrete remains porous, it's just table water from underneath the soil. It's the different water that comes in and around through that building. So, and it's going to fluctuate based upon rain. It's going to fluctuate based upon the time of the year it is. You're going to have more moisture in certain times of the year after snowfall, after heavy rainfall. But most of the time, a building of that age, we don't see moisture levels that high. I'll be completely honest with you. So it's a rarity for something, and you have to tell me the exact date. But typically when we walk into a building like that, we don't have it 10 years, 15
Concrete
years
was
later.
poured in about 1955.
Yeah.
somewhere down there.
So,
You think it should be cured?
Usually.
plenty
Even the
time.
slow curing ones are pretty much
Yeah.
rounding up, yeah.
So,
Do you think that maybe while putting a new type of a sealant on with a new flooring, do you think maybe some attention should be directed towards possibly trying to alleviate the moisture that is currently assuming underneath the concrete to where we don't have this problem, say, in 10 or 15 years?
well, the topical sealer isn't going to stop moisture emissions. So we still have to let that concrete be porous. What we're going to try to do is just change the percentage that we're allowing through the concrete. If we were to make it completely sealed and not allow moisture to get through, it would create cracks, it would create heaving and shifting. So we're just going to put a sealer down, and it's not going to impregnate and completely seal it. It's just going to take that 95% emission level and bring it down to a 75% acceptable emission level. So that's what we're doing from a commercial flooring standpoint. I don't want to speak to what the board or the community would do about addressing potential, and I don't even know if they exist, maybe poor
Where did you take
filtration and things like that.
Where did you take the core samples?
If you walk into the building, it would be on the west side, north and south, and they're still in the concrete. They're an orange 4-inch deep by about a half of an inch drill, and they've got a little kind of computer inside of them, and we just take a test. So, like I said, those readings were pretty significant and pretty similar. And we only tested 3 times. The first test, it really didn't have time to acclimate. It was like an immediate test. So we tried to come back a couple weeks later. So that's why you saw the spike from 81 to 95. It was taken immediately, and it just didn't have enough time to acclimate, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
See, Carol, if they used asphalt to begin with, this wouldn't be a problem.
I'll speak to you after the meeting.
Behind the building? Okay, any
Okay.
questions for,
Well, he's got a couple of proposals here that they don't include color or style. I suppose these are manufacturers and
Yeah, we really were not in a specific, let's
Right.
pick a product.
right.
We're trying to get a budget so it could then be brought to the board to determine if the finances were available. So we're probably in a pretty early stage. We're just trying to do the due diligence of potential pitfalls. What we try to do with government contracts is not have any extras. So when we give you a price, we don't want to have to come back to you and say, we need additional dollars. It's not fiscally responsible for us and obviously puts you in a predicament with the taxpayer. So try to do everything up front, give you all the potential pros and cons, and then
what, you strip up the VCT, and then what kind of preparation do you do?
well, we're going to have to get the sealer down, and depending upon which direction we go, we're then going to have to take care of whatever imperfections are in the concrete.
So you grind off, how do you get the glue and stuff off?
We're not actually going to grind it, we're going to
Okay.
encapsulate it. So we're going to
Okay.
take another cementitious mix, we're going to mix it, and we're going to trowel it on basically the entire concrete floor. We're going to disc it and sand it, and repeat that process a couple times. That's going to make sure that the expansion joints are filled, any imperfections in the concrete are filled, pits and divots are filled. Because today, vinyl flooring is, if you see up there now, you can kind of see some, if you look across the floor, there's trowel marks you can see, and there's little imperfections. Because it's so thin, everything telegraphs through. So we try to get that concrete as smooth as possible. Put the flooring down with a 2-part polyurethane adhesive, and then base it.
I guess my concern is if you have glue on there that's 50% stuff right now, what if you're putting something on top of that, how's that gonna help us? I mean, moisture's still gonna come up and get underneath in that small pocket underneath there, and at some point in time, work its way through.
True. We are not going to shot blast all of it off. That's not necessary in the commercial flooring world from an installation standpoint. So some of it gets scraped, but the vast majority is going to get encapsulated. But prior to that, we're going to put the vapor emission system down. So
I guess I'm just concerned about adhesion. We already have some glue that's semi-adhesed. Is that a new word?
yeah, semi-adhere.
Semi-adhered to the concrete, which
Correct.
has moisture coming through it. So there's some kind of a very, very small pocket underneath there. We're not gonna, I mean, that's not glued, that's not stuck anymore.
No, but we're going to go through a multiple system prior to doing so the moisture remediation system isn't just painting something on and going. So it's got a couple different components. It's got a priming component, it's got a sealing component, and then it has a Versa Shield component in one of those options where actually we lay down almost a protective, thin 1/16 of an inch barrier that goes down.
In his quote here, material will be perimeter glued only. It's a floating floor system that allows for the 95% relative humidity.
On the option A, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's really kind of two ways to look at it. You could, two prices there. Option A would be skim the floor, do the floating floor option. It accepts 95% relative humidity. Option B would be going with the remediation on some sort of moisture emission system called Versa Shield. So,
I just have one more question, and I guess I'm kind of hearing John. And I'm thinking, so you're offering this, it's doing nothing to fix the 95% moisture issue. So how long should they expect this floor to last?
which option are you referring to?
Either option. I mean, what's the longevity of?
We are not completely fixing it, no, but we're going to take it from a 95% level to an acceptable 75% level. So,
But how is that going to fix?
What's expected life of that floor?
Thanks.
if done properly, it should be 15 to 20 years. So I don't know how long it's been since you originally done it.
Now, just out of curiosity, on a system like, with the amount of moisture on there and a concrete base, how would something like a ceramic tile hold up in that?
Application?
Yeah.
I think ceramic tile, you're still going to have to go through similar moisture remediation options. You're probably going to have to go a step further by doing an actual shot blasting to open up the pores of the concrete and then go with a two-part epoxy type system. Ceramic tile, because you're using thin sets and mortars, it's not as tolerant for moisture, so you're going to have to go to a step further in that process. So that's not even an option, not because it isn't an option, but just it wasn't brought up from a pricing standpoint.
I'm guessing, just from my experience, that ceramic tile's a little bit more expensive than.
Yeah, the additional moisture remediation steps are probably, to shot blast the floor, you're $1.75 a square foot, and you've got to go through and put the two-part epoxy system down, and you're going to use your thin sets and your mortars to set it, and then your materials probably double what is on that quote. So off the top of my head, without guessing, it's not going to be double, but it's probably going to be 25 to 33% more without really doing any actual calculations.
Okay, so let's say roughly, and what's the typical lifespan of ceramic tile?
If installed properly, if the moisture's gone and it's done right, porcelain tile versus ceramic tile, stone, I mean,
Whatever, it's just,
you could get 25 years out of it if it's done properly and maintained properly.
okay, so theoretically, we can be looking at 30% more, but
Yeah.
twice the lifespan.
Correct.
So,
Worth considering, absolutely.
Okay. One more thing is, how long would the installation on the, preparation
Start to
process
finish?
be? Yeah.
Probably, if we went with option a week, 5 days. If we went with option B, at most 10 days.
Okay.
Our teams work nights, weekends, things like that. So that's a straight Monday through Friday, either day or night shift. But we would have to close the space for
Yeah.
5 to 10 days.
That's
is
a
extended.
consideration here, obviously.
So it's not bad, I did ceramic tile in my bathroom, took me 3-4 weekends.
If you went ceramic, again, this is off the top of my head, probably 15 days. So, a little more time consuming. So.
Okay. Well, thank you. You've obviously done a thorough job there.
Well, thanks.
Got lot
Here's a
more
couple of my
maybe
cards.
than we want to know.
If you have any more questions, and like I said, my parents lived here for a long time, so I told Nancy this, if we're not selected to do the project, that's fine, as long as we can help you get down the proper road. That's what we're here for, so,
Your company does a fantastic job at the fire department.
thank you.
I'm very pleased with your service.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys mind if I step up?
No?
Thank you, have a great day.
Appreciate
the
it.
opportunity.
Okay, Chief Phillips.
A few things to report. We had 3 projects going on down at the station. One was to replace the sewer line going across the main driveway. It failed. That was completed. The road department re-asphalted the driveway. The second process was repaving, milling down 2 inches and repaving the front parking lot on the south side. That was completed, and also our crack sealing of asphalt and concrete was done. Everything looks good. I want to thank Mr. Emmerich and the board for your help in getting this accomplished. Hopefully it will be nailed down for a little ways to come now.
Yeah.
Second issue is clam bake went fairly
Let me
well.
back you up,
Sure.
John. We had a little bit of rain on there. How was your drainage? Was it just the same as before?
On the front parking lot?
Yeah, on the south.
Yeah, about the same.
Good.
We didn't have any floods in the front training room, so it was worthwhile milling it down, which we had to do because of the
Yeah. We wouldn't have been, I don't think we'd have been as successful if we didn't know that.
No, we shed all that water towards the building. That's what we don't want to have happen.
Okay. Sorry, I mean to...
That's all right. Clam bake went well, considering that we had weather right at dinner serving time. That blew through. Everybody seemed to tolerate the bad weather. We sold 280 bakes and 100 extra dozens. Everything went really well and got a lot of good compliments about it. I'm very pleased with it. And thank you very much to the board for getting the driveway down to the garage opened up a little bit so we could park some of our cars down there. It was pretty crowded, but we made it work. That's it for my report.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I went through and looked at it, everything did look great. Parking lot around the new road garage. Between that, the extension down there for the pads, all looking really, really good. Jim will keep us up to date on that, but also went up and looked at the fire pit floor on that. That looked great, did a nice job, so. Those are dramatic changes are making a big difference. And I did have a thank you from one of our constituents. He had mentioned to me, I don't know, about a month ago about the transition on the Munn Road over 422 there. He was very happy to see that we're going to be doing that on the 21st. I didn't really notice it that much myself. It's probably because I have 166,000 miles in my shock absorbers. But he's got a truck, so he
Yeah.
really notices it. But he was very thank you for
So I'll just tag on to that. Auburn Road's being done tomorrow.
Oh, where?
Bridge, freeway bridge.
Okay, thanks.
Over the freeway. And then the following day, they're gonna come over
Are they
and
going to do Haskins too, I believe?
and they're gonna do Haskins, engineers.
That was all.
It'll just be a one-day closure. DJ?
I have nothing to report tonight, I'm going to pass.
Okay. Fred, do you have anything?
I've got your regular reports in front of you, your appropriation status report, revenue status report, and fund status report, and payment listing. In front of you are warrants 3265 through 3285, totaling $621,465.44. Of note was warrant to Roniak paving for $236,862, and a warrant to Hummel Construction for $341,365. I need some money transferred. We received money to the general fund from the Geauga County engineer. I believe that was connected to the Stafford Road project. You'd have to
That was probably the culvert
or
work.
rebate. So that rebate money I'm assuming would want to move back into Golden Bridge. And I have a resolution prepared to do that. Resolution 2016-28 for transfer of funds from general fund to Golden Bridge. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, that it being necessary to pay for the repair and maintenance of township highways and in consideration of $28,992.72 received into the general fund from the Geauga County engineer on July 15, 2016, the board hereby makes the following inter-fund transfer. $28,992.72 to be transferred out of the general fund and transferred into the road and bridge fund.
So,
Second.
Okay? Mike?
Yes.
PJ?
Yes.
John?
yes.
That's all I have.
Okay, we've got a couple things here going on our service garage. We have Mr. Dixon here, the construction manager, to give us a little update.
The job is going very well. The building is secure. All the exterior, overhead, and man doors are in place and lockable. The mechanical, electrical, plumbing people are continuing to work inside, hooking up the equipment, lighting and plumbing fixtures and the heating system inside the building. Painting, drywall's all up, and painter just finished it today inside. Outside, the building is all asphalt, the driveways are all asphalt, they're all done, the aprons are all done, everything's hooked up. We set the generator last week, we have gas to the building, we have water to the building. We're waiting for CEI to come out in the next few days to hook up the power out on the pole, so we have permanent power in the building. It's going very well. We have no issues. The outside dirt work, we had a contractor from Aurora haul away thousands of yards of dirt that we, as spoils that we had left over, and we had no place to put it or any place to take it. And he said he offered to take it off our hands at no cost. And he even bought a loader out, and he did it all by himself. Him and his dad and another driver, and they worked for about a week, week and a half, and they hauled all that dirt away and saved us a ton of money trying to get rid of it. So that all worked out very well. We're still on schedule, we're still on budget. I still anticipate us going past the end of next month. We'll be done.
Good.
It's a beautiful building inside and out. Everybody that's come to see it, first thing they say is, my goodness, this thing is, how much does this cost? You know, when I tell them $100 a square foot, and they don't believe me. I said, no way, you can't do this for $100. I said, yeah, it's a $2 million budget, guaranteed. Can't go over 2 million, it won't go over 2 million, it's 20,000 square feet, do the math. And we've got trustees in there, the chief just kind it up, and take a couple of trustees from other townships through there and show them during the clam bake, and they were, I think they were impressed, huh, chief?
Yes, sir.
So it's
That was a very nice
a
building.
lot of good thought and ideas went into this building, and it's all coming to fruition right now. It's really good, I'm very proud of it. I think that's it.
Okay.
I did have a question about my fee on this job.
Your fee, oh, okay.
Am I supposed to be paid 10% on this job? Because I'm not even being paid half of that.
You're not.
We had a public meeting here and my fee was established. It's part of public record. But
Where did you come up with that?
the Jones seem to think I'm making 10% on this job.
Oh,
That's more than double my contract.
they're here.
Should
Where'd
I
you come up
come
with
in for
that?
extra money?
Maybe they're gonna give you a personal bonus.
So I guess that was false, huh?
Yeah, that would be another fantasy.
Okay. Guess if you can't tell the truth, you just make it up. Okay.
We have the history. of
Just
that.
thought I'd check. Thank you.
Okay. We have invoice here from Roniak for $236,862.70. Recommendation from the engineer, and this is obviously for the Ascot project. I'm gonna make a motion that we pay that.
Second, based on the engineer's recommendation.
He did a nice job.
I think it went pretty smoothly, yeah, I do.
Very nice job, and
Mike,
Yes.
BJ,
Yes.
John?
yes. Okay, there's the often asked question, when are we gonna do trick or treat? I'm kind of looking at the bottom of this agenda.
I've done some research on
Have
it.
you
I think
researched
October
that out?
31st is the best date to do
Okay.
that.
All right.
I'm gonna leave it up to you what time though.
Why don't we do what we did for the last 50 years?
It's a place to start.
We'll do 6 to 8.
Okay.
Mr. Twain, does that work with your schedule?
Let's see, Saturday. Yeah, that's good.
You want to establish the penalty for not hitting the 6 to 8 o'clock hour?
No, I don't want to comment on that.
That's
You
as
need
long
a
as it's
motion
70
for that?
degrees and sunny.
Sure.
Well, I have a long-standing motion that we move that to July, and you guys have never gone with it. You know, candy's available in July, in bulk quantities.
I
So
think that's a vicious rumor.
you'd have lots of daylight, it'd be nice and warm, the kids wouldn't get, cold, but no.
Isn't that when we celebrate Christmas now?
Doesn't, I always do that then too. Make it all on the same
Do it
day.
all one day, there you go.
Okay.
Easter candy.
Okay, 6 to 8. I have the 31st motion to do that.
Second,
Mike,
yes.
EJ,
Yes.
John?
Yes. Okay, anything else?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, one warrant. What is Citadel Communication? And that was warrant 82, for $3,172, and I think 50 cents, because I can't read my writing. But what was that for, please?
That's for the telephone system for the new service garage telephone and communication system.
Okay. I figured it was gonna be some public relations campaign. Okay.
Yeah, we conduct those quite often. Anything else? Motion of all motions?
Second,
Mike,
yes.
EJ,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Nino. Check over that clock.
Here.
8:02.